Hello everyone, today I have a Tay Talks video. I've not done one of these in a while, so I have a lot to talk to you about. First up, I'm going to do an Arthur Miller spotlight. I'm then going to talk about the Madame Pamplemousse children's series because it's genius. And then I want to talk to you about separating the art from the artist to do with authors, and I have an example to show you. So first up, you should read Arthur Miller because he's my favourite playwright and he's a bloody genius. His plays are all about very human interactions and people not vocally saying what they're feeling, but they're showing it with their actions and people trying to work out what on earth is going on. So the most famous Arthur Miller is A View from the Bridge. I'm not going to talk about that. And then people know All My Sons. I'm not going to talk about those two, but they are absolutely fantastic. I'm going to talk about the ones that are lesser known. So they are great. Go and read them. The Crucible by Arthur Miller is about the Salem witch trials, and it is the hysteria of the time of all these different people saying she's a witch, no I'm not a witch, she's a witch, and passing the blame, and how hysterical and mental that whole situation was. What Arthur Miller believed is that there was no such thing as witches, but that the girls were being sexually abused because the way they were speaking, the devil came through my window, I've been touched by the devil, all this different stuff. He believed that someone who religious within the group was sexually abusing the girls, but the girls, because they lived in such a sheltered community, didn't have the vocabulary to say what was happening to them. They were very innocent, they didn't know, and so people were like, the devil? The what? Like, she's a witch. And that's how he thinks the whole thing kicked off, which is incredibly sad. When you, because he's done a lot of interviews on this, when you listen to his interviews and then read this, it really puts the context into the story, into what some of the girls are saying. So this is a really interesting take on that. It's a very shouty play. Everyone is shouting and screaming at each other. And the thing with plays is obviously you can read them and enjoy them, but they're meant to be performed. So if you can see Arthur Miller, go and see it, obviously, because they're not really meant to be read like this, but I love them. Next up, I have Death of a Salesman. This is about a man who is a salesman. He always thinks he's going to be a millionaire and have all this money, and that his two sons are going to carry on doing what he's doing and be salesmen, and then he's coming up to retirement and he has a complete breakdown because he realises that he's not going to be this millionaire and that all his hard work has not really paid off, and he has a very ordinary life. And his wife is trying to say to him, like, you are wealthy in other ways, maybe not money, but you have me, you have two beautiful sons, we have a house, and he can't see it, and he has a breakdown. Really interesting play. Broken Glass by Arthur Miller, I think it's one of his cleverest plays. It's about a woman in America who all of a sudden says her legs have stopped working. She believes she is paralysed, so the doctor says there is nothing wrong with you. And it's about the doctor and her husband talking about her, but none of them really communicating with her to say, like, what on earth's happened to her. And what is happening to her is it's the time when, like, Hitler was in power and the Nazis were rising, and Nazis are smashing up Jewish people's stores in Germany, and she's become obsessed with reading about it in the newspaper. And it's about, like, kind of sympathy pain. You know when, like, women go into labour and then their partners are like, oh, I can feel a kick, it's sympathy pain, and I'm there just like, put him in another room. It's kind of that thing, but in a more extreme environment. I thought this was absolutely amazing. I've read another one, which is Revolution something, which was good as well. But those are like my favourite of his. You need to read Arthur Miller. I love it. Next up, I'm very excited to talk to you about this series. I mentioned it ages ago, but I just want to mention it again. This is a great children's series if you're an adult or if you have a child that wants to get into reading or whatever. Madame Pamplemousse is a series. So the first one is Madame Pamplemousse and her incredible edibles, and the next one is And the Time Travelling Calf, and then there's another one in the series which I've just ordered, and I can't wait to read that as well, and it's only a 3-book series. It's about a little girl called Madeline in Paris. So the drawings are just out of this world. It's her, I mean, look at it, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's her in Paris, and she goes into this shop that's owned by this really quirky woman called Madame Pamplemousse, and it's all different food combinations. So if you have a fussy eater of a child, this is a good book for them because the combinations are like, oh, that sounds so gross, let me try it. Oh my god, it's absolutely delicious. She's a fantastic chef. The second book in the series is about Paris is turning, I mean, just gorgeous illustrations. Paris is turning into like supermarkets, very much what London is basically. It's like the warning of don't let us turn into London. Supermarkets and big skyscrapers are going to be built, and they're like, no, Paris needs to be kept how it is. And Paris, you know, is a built up city, but it's one of those cities that are interestingly very leafy. There's a lot of nature around Paris. which I always find very beautiful. And it's about like people's spirit to do with that, and Paris, and oh, the streets of Paris, the way they are drawn in this is just genius. Here's a picture of Madame Pamplemousse in her shop, and you can see all the different foods. The illustrations are just stunning. The writing is stunning. It's very elegant. It's very charming. It reads like a classic children's book, but it's not. It came out, the first one came out in 2008. Also in this book, you have a dinosaur drool cupcake recipe in this book. So there's recipes as well to get children into cooking. It's really about Parisian culture, so like cooking, family, everyone's a bit different, but it doesn't matter. Madame Pamplemousse is a total freak, but it does not matter because she's a great person, and that we're all individual and ourselves, and also keep the charm of your city and how nature is important. Everything is absolutely genius. You need to read it. I cannot recommend this series enough. This is my favourite picture from the book. It's a sphinx holding a reporter flying over the Eiffel Tower, and it talks about like the gargoyles on the Notre Dame. It's just so gorgeous. If you love Paris, these books are a must-have. You need to read them. Absolutely gorgeous. I think children would absolutely love them. They're so intelligent, the way they're written, and it's all magical. They go to these magical lands, and Madame Pamplemousse is so mysterious and weird. And there's really, in the second book, kind of people are saying how weird Madame Pamplemousse is and trying to like smear her as this kind of outcast freak, because she does keep to herself with her little cat, and she has this weird little shop, and she is an odd individual, and it's really about it's okay to be odd. Some of us are odd, and it's completely fine, and that's what I love about it. So you need to read that series. It's absolutely fantastic. So Arthur Miller you need to read. Pamplemousse by Rupert Kingfisher you need to read. And now on to a discussion which is not going to be as savoury as those other two there. And Grimble at Christmas by Clement Freud, pictures by Quentin Blake. Got this from a charity shop. How gorgeous is this cover? It looks really gorgeous. Quentin Blake's illustrations look stunning in this. This is a children's book. It was very successful at the time. Let me stick up for Quentin Blake really quickly. When this children's book came out, Clement Freud was known as an MP. He's done different jobs, kind of a funny personality person as well. That's who Clement Freud was. Now when people think of Clement Freud, they kind of think of him as a paedophile. Now nothing was proven. After Clement Freud died, then all these allegations came out. So I got this because I saw Quentin Blake, and then when I looked up Clement Freud, because I thought, oh, didn't he do something wrong? Wasn't there something there? Oh, I just don't know. I'm going to read this. I feel like I'm going to love it. I feel like it's going to be really good, but I would probably never pick anything else up that Clement Freud did. How do you feel about this? I think why I am so like, oh, this makes me feel really uncomfortable is because it's a children's book, and some of the crimes that are allegations, they have not been proven, are against children. I'll widen the debate a little bit. Hollywood and everything to do with like Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, loads of different allegations going around about these people. Does it make you not want to watch their films anymore? I used to love Kevin Spacey. He was in a film called Pay It Forward, and it's with a little boy in it, and now I would find it uncomfortable to watch that film because of the allegations that have been made about him, and the boy in the film is a teenage boy. I would feel uncomfortable, and I don't think I could watch that film. Can you separate the art from the artist with something in regards to this and regards to films? Would you be able to read this book and feel I care about it? Because I am going to read it, but I feel like I'm going to feel a bit but nothing was proved, but people came forward, and someone who he worked with was a paedophile, and he was personal friends with him, so it's kind of like there's that situation. I don't know. That's it. That's the end of Tay Talks. Let's try and like end on a high. I hope you're having a great day. I am. Let's jazz it back up from like abuse in Arthur Miller and then abuse in children's fiction. Jesus Christ. Read Madame Pamplemousse because it's lovely. It's gorgeous. If you don't want anything heavy, this is the perfect book for you. It's absolutely stunning. Give it a read. I love you all, and I will see you all very soon. Can I show you my slippers? Are you ready for this? Get yourselves ready. Got these from a boot sale. So yeah, second-hand shoes, but still. I mean, hi, I'm a French woman. How you doing? I got pom-poms on my shoes. Glamour puss.